Appreciation Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, we're checking out a film from 1987. That movie is Video Violence. Now, I didn't know a lot about video violence when I originally put this thing on the Amazon wish list. In fact, I actually knew pretty much nothing outside of the title until I read the summary a scant few minutes ago. And the short version of it is, a couple recently opened a video store in this small town, and one day they get a snuff film in their video return box. And slowly you find out that the whole town is full of blood, or just full of blood fucking thirsty lunatics who just love to kill people and film it, and at least that's kind of what the summary on the back of the DVD case says. It sounds interesting, just a whole town of lunatics who like to randomly kill people and film it for, fun. That sounds like it might prove to be an interesting premise. It could also prove to be massive crap. I have no idea. I'm certainly hoping for this movie to be decent, but the only way I'm going to find out, guys, is if I shut up and I push play. And I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Video Violence. I would just like to say, guys, right now, I had a little bit of dread going into this, knowing that it was a movie that was shot on friggin' video, knowing most shot-on-video movies suck, but the quality of this is actually pretty good. I'm talking quality in terms of, special effects, the acting, even the friggin' writing is kind of solid so far. I am pleasantly surprised because a movie that's shot on video has some level of quality. That's awesome, dude. I'm certainly hoping that it stays this good through the fucking duration of the movie. Just gonna have to keep on watching and find out. Wow, that is an incredibly annoying ringer. No, guys, I honestly was not expecting the ringer on that phone to be that shrill. Wow. I will say, everything else so far in this movie is really good, but sometimes the sound mix gets a little bit goofy. We get shit like that ultra shrill ringer. Wow. That actually kind of sort of pulled me out of the movie a bit, and I think I have a little bit of a headache now. Damn. I would just like to say, guys, just as like a bit of a note, I've noticed that every single VCR in this film is a top loader, which is fascinating, because I don't remember VHS players ever being top loaders. I always thought that was more like a Betamax thing. Now, I know it's been fucking years since I actually looked at a VCR, but I never remember seeing a top-loading VCR, much less the veritable fucking, cornucopia of top-loaders this movie has. I understand, guys, that has nothing to do with the movie itself, but it's just a little fascinating thing I fucking noticed, and I think it's sort of cool. I really wish I knew what I was watching here, guys. Our lead characters were slipped another VHS tape. You'd assume it was another snuff film, another one made exactly like every other snuff film in this movie. No, instead it's some goofy, stupid vampire shit, which just comes off as kind of weird. And we've had to watch this thing for the past 4 minutes or so, and it's bringing the pace of the movie down. It has actually brought the story of the film to a dead stop. And that's a bad thing. I'm kind of hoping for this to finish up so that way we can move. Oh, thank God the tape is done. Now hopefully we can move on and get to something decent. So, yeah, that last few minutes was rather shit. Well, guys, that was Video Violence. Let's shut that off. Okay. First of all, before I go any further, I need to apologize about something. You see, I don't like to give out spoilers in these videos, at least not often. I mean, I've gone 600-something episodes, and I've made it a habit of at least warning you guys if I'm going to spoil anything. But apparently, the back of the DVD case spoiled the ending. And I directly spoiled the ending at the start of this. You see, the whole thing about the town being full of bloodthirsty psychos who want to watch people die, that's the twist at the end. Alright? It's kind of hinted at, but it's never fully told until the final act. So, yeah, so to the people at Camp Motion Pictures who made this DVD, your movie's pretty good, but fuck you for spoiling the twist in your fucking description. That was absolute bullshit. And because I go into all of these blind, I didn't know that I was spoiling the ending to you guys. And that makes me feel kind of sort of shit. Anyway, besides that, why don't we talk about this movie itself? I am going to say, I've seen a lot of shot on video films. Most of them suck. I can probably count on one hand the number of them that are actually decent. The best I've seen would have to be the legendary Troma classic Redneck Zombies. Video violence is a very close second. This thing is amazingly made, considering the fact that it's shot on video, which means it had almost no budget to speak of. Why don't we talk about the writing for just a moment? If you go into it and you don't know the twist that I, without knowing, spoiled for you, it actually does have a nice, mystery as you watch, as our two main characters, the owners of this video store, slowly begin to piece everything together about how they are getting these tapes, and the police and the police are not buying these stories because they're unable to actually see the tapes, and how any sort of phone call that goes out of fucking town is completely shut down because of various reasons. It's all really well written, and the story itself is fascinating. It really is cool that, there actually is this seeming kind of boiling, under fucking current of the whole town being in on this, or at least a good chunk of the town being in on it. Especially when you get to the deli scene. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail there, because I'm not going to spoil the gore for you guys, because I may have given away the ending. I'm not about to give away the, gore. But there's a scene in this fucking deli, and it's done amazingly. And the entire setup of it is awesome. It's like, guys, I have seen some interesting horror movies. The very premise of this one was incredibly fascinating, and that all by itself is going to draw people in. I'm going to tell you right now, though, the movie has aged horribly, because in 2017, a whole lot of the shit that's here just isn't seen anymore. You don't have video stores. I mean, I think maybe within a 50-mile radius, there's only about 3 video stores, and what do you know, they're all family fucking video. But it used to be that every small town at least had one or two video, stores, and it was just a fascinating time. I loved going into them. I was having fond, nostalgic memories just looking at the inside of the video store in this movie. But that is something that people who were born after, say, 1994 are going to have no earthly clue on. So that honestly is going to age this movie immensely. But it still is a great... In fact, hell, it's just everything, guys, is everything from the phones to VHS tapes. The fact that there were top-loading VHS players. I didn't know there were top-loading VCRs. I always thought that was I said this earlier. I always thought that was like a Betamax thing. But apparently I was totally wrong, and now I wish I had a top-loading VCR, because those look really fucking awesome. Anyway, so besides the fact that this movie has aged awfully because of just how much things have changed in the past almost 30 years since this thing was made, the actual story is incredibly fascinating, and it is very well, written. The characters who you meet up with are incredibly fascinating. I'm going to put some special mention on, and hang on, I actually have to grab the DVD case again because I'm awful with names. The characters of Howard and Eli, who are the two primary local fucking psychos who film a ton of snuff films. They, at times, are absolutely disgusting human beings as they're torturing their victims and all that. But it's the lead up to the killings where they're actually almost charming. And if the back of the DVD is anything to go by, the sequel follows Howard and Eli exclusively. So that will hopefully be really freaking cool. Our characters here are incredibly fascinating. The way that the story plays out is awesome. Guys, I never thought I'd be able to say that about a movie called Video Violence. I was totally ready to just essentially write off this fucking thing as trash. And mind you, it is kind of trashy, but it's a likable kind of trashy. It honestly is that kind of charming 80s cheese I love. So yeah, guys, writing here is a hell of a lot better than I honestly was expecting. So that much is totally positive. Acting. Acting is a little bit of a mixed bag. Allow me to explain. So we have our two leads, and those two, the people playing Steve and, what the fuck was his wife's name? I believe it was Rachel. Those two are cool, when it comes to actually, putting on a performance. That's fine. And our two main psychos, Howard and fucking Eli, again, are played very, very well. The sheriff's acting is so bad or the police chief, rather, it's the chief of police. His acting is so bad that it's going to make you fucking smile every time he speaks. So yes, guys, his acting fucking blows, but it works. In just some weird, wacky way, it kind of sort of works. Almost every other actor is at least marginally decent. At the very end, the head of the town, she probably turns in the best performance in the entire film, which is awesome. So yeah, acting here is for the most part decent, and the few actors who suck, at least honestly, they kind of sort of suck in a way that is almost charming, and it makes the movie just a little bit better, because when you have this kind of direct-to-fucking video, shot on video cheesiness, a little bit of bad acting is just that perfect little touch that makes the whole thing feel great. So, we have that. What about special effects? A movie like this lives and dies by its special effects. And considering the fact that this was a low-budget outing, I was pleasantly surprised by what I saw for special effects. Now, mind you, there are a couple of problems. Like, there is one person who has their head, cut off, and the head is obviously very rigid, very hard plastic. But frankly, I'm gonna let that one totally go. There's another character whose hand is cut off, and you can see the molding line along the side of the hand from when they molded it in plastic. But still, that's totally fine, because really, that fucking shot, I am not even lying, all of 2 seconds long. I fucking noticed it because I always seem to notice that kind of goofy bullshit. Nobody else is going to. I can almost guarantee you, almost everybody else is going to watch this thing and they're not going to see the molding lines on that fucking hand. But beyond those, small things, everything else here is great. I love the way that, every single, stabbing actually kind of works. I'm going to assume, this is just me thinking how movies are made, that they had blades which had blades that slid in, or in one case an ice pick where the actual pick end slides in, and it looks really fucking good. It does. It looks fantastic when it's actually used. So yeah, guys, special effects here are amazing considering the budget and considering the fact that it was shot on fucking video. Again, that usually makes a whole lot of the that normally, for whatever reason, guys, when something is shot on video, it makes a whole lot of the like smaller like details pop out more. So you need shit that works exceptionally well. And the fact that I can only really cite one hand and one head, that's awesome. Okay, so we have your special effects that are amazing when you happen to consider the budget and how this thing was filmed and when this thing was made. All of that is good. One thing I have to point out, and I have bitched about this problem in movies for years. A lot of times when you have these lower budget films, one problem a lot of filmmakers have is not being able to keep blood constant in terms of color and thickness. This movie almost pulls it off. Blood has the same color and thickness in almost every shot except for the beheading. The blood is like 3 times thicker as it's like splattering onto the floor. But oh well. That's one time that the blood is not constant with every other use of blood in the film. Considering the fact that there is a whole lot of gore in this thing, and there's only one instance where the blood actually is not constant with how it is in every other shot, that's fucking awesome, and my hat's off to the filmmakers for actually having the foresight to keep your blood a constant color and a constant thickness for damn near every shot. Awesome fucking shit. Alright. Sound mix. Sound mix is a little bit of a mixed bag. Specifically, there are certain shots where dialogue is ridiculously echoed because they're in an almost empty room and there's a massive echo just bouncing off of the fucking walls and the mic picks up all of it. Anytime that someone is talking on the phone and you're supposed to hear not only the person who's making the call, but also the person on the other end. The person on the other end is not actually muted in, any way, and they don't really bother to put any kind of like a audio fucking effect to make it sound like it's coming out of a telephone. So literally, we had a character calling a fucking operator, and the operator who was on the other end was louder than the person on the phone, which, mind you, is a minor nothing. It's one time in this entire film, and that one line of dialogue was maybe, again, about 3 seconds long. It's nothing to really worry about, but it is something that is worth noticing. Sound mix here, for the most part, is decent, minus, once more, a couple of scenes that were shot in very echo-filled rooms that they didn't bother to loop in dialogue later, and when they do go to add in, dialogue, it's oftentimes louder than what was in the actual shot, and that throws things off a little bit. But again, that ultimately is nothing. That is such a minor thing when everything else here works as well as it does. Our lighting here is relatively decent. Once more, that is a big thing when you're shooting on video, is you need to have good lighting. And the only time I really thought that the lighting sucked was at the end, when the whole town is trying to fucking explain the twist. Everything is really dark and it looks awful on video. But the reason for that is because then when they call for the lights to come on to actually film, you actually then notice the lights come on and it gets noticeably brighter. You could probably have done that by at least partially lighting the scene and then adding more lights afterwards. But hey, you know what? Again, it's minor, it's nothing, it's piddly, and it's a small thing to really gripe about when the rest of the film works as well as it does. Beyond that one scene, lighting is amazing. Camera work here is really good. The only problem I have with camera work, and again, I'm getting really trivial on this shit, guys. There were 2 instances where there was somebody who was just out of frame, who weren't supposed to be there. You can almost tell, and they will move a fucking like arm into shot for maybe like a second. Or they'll be up here, and you'll see them, like, pop up for a minute, and then they will come back down. Again, it's minor, it's stupid, but god damn it, I fucking noticed it, and I kind of feel like mentioning it. And once more, that's all of 2 shots in this entire movie. I am complaining about no shit only about 3 seconds, maybe 2, maybe 3 seconds, of people who were out of frame, who were just coming in and were just kind of fucking over the shot slightly. That's minor. That's minor. That's nothing, but god damn it, I really feel that if I didn't mention it, I would just feel weird. Anyway, beyond those couple of minor things, camera work here is awesome. And that is awesome everywhere, from what actually is shot to look like a movie to the shit that is supposed to look like a snuff film. All of that is done with a handheld camera, and it really looks great. Ultimately, guys, when all is said and done, I'm able to recommend Video Violence. Yes, as long as you're into cheesy 80s direct-to-video, shot-on-video films. Which pretty much limits exactly who's going to really want to watch this. Now, if you've never seen a shot-on-video movie, this one actually is a pretty decent one to start off with. It certainly is one of the best that I've seen. Again, it's second only to Redneck Zombies, but I'm also kind of sort of biased towards that one because I've watched Redneck Zombies a good 50 times. I fucking adore that goddamn movie. But Video Violence is still a great low-budget, cheapy film. I really had a lot of fun watching it. It's goofy, it's corny, it's fun. Yes, I can absolutely recommend it. And yes, later this month I am going to be checking out the sequel. I'm certainly hoping for the sequel to be as much fun as this one was. But I will find that out later on this month. Now, because it's Fan Appreciation Month, Video Violence came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was Robert. And Robert sent in a lot of stuff for this series, and for that, I thank him immensely. He is one of the big reasons why this show is still going, because he sent in so much stuff. And anyway, he is so awesome. I really want to thank him for this one. Please, guys, swing on over to Robert's Amazon profile page and check out everything that he has written there. He has a handful of, well, actually, it's probably a lot of at this point, Amazon reviews, and if you can just go over there and read those and check out everything that he has there, that would be amazing. I'm going to provide a link for you. Please, guys, go over there, check it out. Robert, dude, I thank you. You have sent in so much stuff for this series. I still have a mountain of shit from you I still have to cover, and hopefully I'll get to a lot of it soon. There's one I know has been sitting in here for years, and I have not gotten around to it yet. I will hopefully get to that one very soon. But dude, I really do want to thank you, because everything that you've sent in has been fantastic for this series. Now the movies may honestly not always be good, but goddammit, anything that helps me continue to make episodes is always great. I thank you for that. You're fucking awesome. Once more, guys, please swing on over to Robert's Amazon profile page. Check out everything that he has written there. And as I said, I will be watching Video Violence 2 later on this month, and I'm certainly, once more, hoping for it to be as good as the original Video Violence. Now, I mentioned Redneck Zombies. I see I still have my DVD of it, because Troma hasn't put the damn thing out on Blu-ray. I'm going to go watch that, because that is a fun fucking movie. I absolutely love it, and who knows, after that I might go back and rewatch Video fucking Violence, because it was definitely a cool movie. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close to another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.